Hi everyone, it's Donna here from Donna's Creative Corner, and I am here today with some kits, and this time I have vintage kits. They are $35 a piece. I have two different kits, but they're not very different. They're very similar. I want to start off by saying that again this weekend I have something to do this morning, so I am going to upload my video and then I have to leave the house right away, and I won't be back until probably the afternoon. So you won't hear from me until the afternoon to know whether you got a kit or not. So with that being said, kit number 1 I have 5 of this one, and kit number 2 I only have 2 of. So let me get started. In kit number 1, the trims and fabrics in this one, there's a length of this crochet, pretty crochet trim. It's probably about 18 inches of that. It's a cream color, or yeah, I'd say a cream color. There is this white doily that has the I don't know what that's called, on the edges, on 4 edges. This is probably about a foot square, so one of those. There's a, let's see, a good sized piece of this gold silk fabric, very shiny. It looks like a raw silk. And again, if anybody is interested in this fabric, I have a lot of it, so contact me if you're interested in it, and we'll talk about prices and how much you need. It has a length of this burlap trim or ribbon. It's got wire on the edge of it. Pretty ecru color, vintage color. There's a length of this crochet, well, I think it's crochet, well, I don't know, I'm not sure what that is, but it's a pretty ecru, vintage ecru color. A length of that. A pretty large piece of kind of a muslin type fabric, good for making flowers. It rips really well, and it has shabby edges when you rip it. I have tea stained it, so this is already a tea stained color. It's a pretty large piece that's folded over. So muslin fabric there. A large piece of this embroidered net fabric. It's a sheer netting. It's not tulle. It's very soft fabric. I'm going to come down so you can see the, has a scalloped edge and the floral embroidery in it. So there's a good sized piece of that. I have I purchased recently quite a bit of this net embroidered fabric, so you're going to be seeing quite a bit of it in my kits coming up, both this kit, these kits, and the shabby chic kits as well. So there's a piece of that. There's 2 of these vintage appliques with small beads on them. They're already this tea stain kind of color. It came this way off the dress. Very vintage dress. 2 of those. A piece of this Alençon trim. It's only about a foot of it, I guess, but it's very shabby looking. It has the shabby edges on it, and some beads and a couple of sequins, not much. So a piece of that. There's a set of either 5 or 6 of these small appliques that have beads and gold thread They're kind of a tea stain color already, and they have gold thread on them. So there's a set of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of those. They have the tiniest, I don't know if you can see that, the tiniest teardrop pearls I have ever seen. See those little teeny tiny teardrop pearls? Never seen them that small before. So that's in kit number 1. There's also a length of this really pretty, I think it's called onion trim. This is 12. I'd say about 16 inches. 60, or it was a half a yard. That's right. I remember measuring it. This one's a brown color, and it has these are metal pieces that come over the top of the dangles. So a half a yard of that, and a bag of trims. These are the trims that come in kit number 1. Most of what's in here is a yard. Some of the smaller ones are probably, I think I put 2 yards in. These are all vintage and antique trims. You've got this white one here. These are all trims that you won't find in Michael's and Joann's. Recently I bought 2 very large lots of vintage and antique trims. I paid quite a bit for them. It's getting harder and harder to find this stuff. Well, it's harder to find it at a reasonable price, that's for sure. So there's a yard of that. A yard of this white, where's my remote? And come down a little bit more. Of this pretty, you can run ribbon through this. A yard of this cream one. A yard of this kind of flesh colored one. This is a, oh, that's the right side. I love this kind of lace. That's the Alençon lace. Here's another one in an ecru color, the Alençon, with a little cording in it. That one looks very vintage. There's a couple of yards of this very dainty little, very light as a feather little trim. It's probably a ½ inch. There's a length of this one. I believe this one is a Valencian lace, a French lace. There was a lot of French lace in the lots that I got. Very pretty. There's another lace that you can put ribbon through. Here's a yard of this one. This one's a cream color. Oh, excuse me. This one's very unusual. I've never seen, oh, focus. Never seen this one before. There's a yard, I think a yard of this really pretty wider lace. Lots of lace to work with. This one's really pretty. You can probably run ribbon through the top, and then you have this pretty part in the bottom. There's this one, floral. Here's another of that really dainty. The other one was kind of a tea stain color. This one is a white, very, very light. There's a piece of tatting. This isn't a yard. This is probably about a foot, 12 inches of it. Really pretty thick, wide tatting. That's so pretty. I love tatting. I know a few of you out there do this. My hat's off to you, because that looks so complicated to do. And then a yard or maybe 2 yards of this really little dainty one here. So those are the laces that come in kit number 1. And then the doilies that come in kit number 1, there's 3, let me come out a little bit, 3 of these pineapple ones in a white. There's 3 of this one, 3 of this one, 3 of this white one, 3 of this one. I tried to pick ones that look kind of vintagey. This pretty ecru one, a little darker. 3 of this one, 3 of this one. Get into the smaller ones. There's 4 of these little squares, oops, with the threads running through them. 4 of those, 4 or 5, I think there's 5 of these little ones with the button kind of in the middle, raised button, and then 5 of these little white ones. So that is kit number 1, $35 a piece. Kit number 2 is very similar. In kit number 2, the fabrics and trims in this one, oops, let me come out, is this net filet lace. It's a good sized piece of that. That's the one with the stitches or the threads that are gathered on it. There's a piece of that. In this one is also a good sized piece of that gold silk fabric. Another piece, a different style of that net, embroidered net fabric. This one has a swirl kind of pattern. It's a good sized piece. It's probably about 20 inches across. I think this one was 20 by 20 or 20 by 21. It's a sheer netting with the heavy, is that the back side? Oh, that's the back side. Here's a pretty side. So you can tell it's a little bit shinier with the raised embroidery. Very pretty. Love this. Oops. So it's a good sized piece of that. In this kit is also one of the square, 1 foot square doilies. This one has a piece of eyelet fabric. There's eyelet at the bottom and just cotton at the top. They're pretty eyelet with the scallop. There's a piece of that. There is a piece of crochet trim that's probably about 18 inches long. It's a cream color. And this one is a piece of the burlap trim that's wired. This one is more of a cream color. The other kit had a more of an ecru. Burlap. And then also in this one is some of these Alençon appliques. These don't have any beads or sequins on them, but there's 3 of this. 3 of this one. Pretty floral design. You can cut it up. And let's see, a set of 4 from that same dress that had, it's kind of a tea stain. Oh, this is, I thought this was the one with the gold thread, but it doesn't. It's just kind of that tea stain color. You got that one, and then 2 of these. And then in this one, there's a half a yard of this, of the same, it's not the same, it's a different shade. This one's more of a taupe color of the onion trim. It's a half a yard. Very pretty. Very nice quality, high quality trim. So those are the fabrics and trims. The laces in kit number 2. I appreciate you bearing with me as I get through all of this, because I want you to see everything that's in the kit. This one has, and same with this one, it's a yard, sometimes more, sometimes a little bit less, depending on how much I had. You got this white one, this really pretty, I think this one, I'm not sure if this is a Valencian lace, but it's that really pretty dark vintage color. I love this. I don't know why, I just love these laces. They just say a story, I think. There's this one here. It's kind of a cream. Is that the top? I think that's the top. Has a little bit of cording to it. Oops. Got this one here that has a pretty loopy design. You've got, if you hear sirens, my husband is watching a cop show in the other room. So we've got a yard of this. We've got a yard of this really pretty one, wider one. This one is corded. Kind of a cream color. We've got this really vintage one here, possibly antique. Gorgeous. I love these. I'm just so in love with this type of lace. This one is a Valencian lace. It's a French lace. Really pretty little dainty, very dainty little design. Love that one. It has a couple of yards of this also very tiny, tiny featherlight little trim, vintage trim. A yard of, where's the end of this? Right there. It's kind of a French braid kind of, but it's very thin, maybe a 1/4 of an inch. A yard, or maybe even a little bit more of that. There's a yard of this one. Oops, this is the front. And a length of, this one's probably about 22 inches of this pretty tatting, double edge tatting. So those are the laces. Oops, I don't want to get these mixed up. Those are the laces in kit number 2. And then the doilies that are in kit number 2, some of them are similar. You've got 3 of the pineapple ones, 3 of this one, 3 of this one. I think that was in the other kit. 3 of this one. Lots to work with in your vintage projects, your vintage fabric albums. 3 of this one. It's an ecru color. 3 of this one in the cream. 3 of this one in a just off-white, 3 of the ecru ones, 3 of this one, getting to the little ones now. I think there's 5 of this little one, and then 5 of this little tiny one, tiny square one. So that is vintage kit number 2. I only have 2 of this one. I have 5 of that first one that I showed. And I also have today some vintage lace grab bags. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I purchased some large lots of vintage laces. You saw some of them in these 2 kits. Those are the ones in the kits that I had the most of, where I could put together more kits. The rest are, I had smaller quantities, like 1, 2, 3, 4 yards available, so I put them into grab bags. I have a whole bag of grab bags put together, and they're all those vintage laces. If you want one of these, they are $8 a piece. I have to ask more for the vintage ones because I have to pay more for the vintage ones. So they're not inexpensive to purchase. So, but they are all vintage. I try to put as much of a variety in each one as I could. If you're interested in one and you don't want black, this black is actually really pretty. It's a, my bag's in white. It's really pretty alençon lace. There's some of that design. There's also some black Venice lace in some of these. So let me know if you don't want black. I didn't put any more than 1 piece of black in any one grab bag, so keep that in mind. So it's a grab bag. There's some tatting in here. There's a lot of Valencian lace. There's a lot of the alençon lace that you saw in the other kits. There's some eyelet lace. There's some ruffle. There's embroidered lace. Just a nice variety of vintage laces for your projects. Oh, sorry about the glare. This one has kind of a peachy color in it. There's some that have this embroidered lace. This one has some of that kind of a fleshy color in the black, the little tiny Valencian. So if you're interested in one of the vintage lace grab bags, they are $8 a piece. If you're interested in anything in today's video, the instructions on how to order are in the description box below. As soon as I get back home, I'll start, I'll see what I have left. I will mark in the description box below as soon as I go through all the orders, and I will mark anything sold that is sold out. I have actually 15 of these vintage laces grab bags put together. So that's all I have for today. Bye for now.